Hello and welcome. I am Sara Smith and I wanted to share with you my brand new blog. I'm going to be moving to some different kinds of content for Border Patrol applicants in 2026, and this is one of them. So today I would like to share with you the very first post, and that is Opportunity Hides Inside the Border Patrol Hiring Wait. Let's go ahead and take a look inside and see what we have. I know some people like to read along, so we'll go ahead and scroll down. How many of you feel like this in the hiring process? I know I did. After spending 4 very long and painful years, I pretty much began to feel like my folder had slipped behind the desk of someone at the hiring process and they had totally forgotten about me, or maybe somehow it had slipped underneath the fridge. It was a very long and frustrating process. So if you are feeling like this, you are not alone. Let's go ahead and talk a little bit more about the hiring wait and what the opportunity is that is inside of that. So, as most of you know, the hiring process can be very long and there's a lot of uncertainty. For most people, it is at least 4 months long. However, for most of us, it lasts much longer, generally in the range of at least 8 months to a year and often longer, especially if you are someone who has worked many jobs, if you have had many different residences in different states. If you are an older applicant, there's a lot more history than you might have. So that is something to keep in mind. And it really does feel like one delay after another. You might get scheduled for something quickly and then something else can take, months until you hear anything, and you just feel like you're in this administrative limbo. And the hard part is that your timeline can slow down or stop pretty much without any warning. So it is common to have months go by with there being no communication or no indication that anything is going to happen. And so it can be a time when there is quite a bit of impatience. And one of the reasons that this is so challenging is that you've got stuff to do. So you still have to make your important decisions about life. You may wonder, should I take the new job? Should I go ahead and move? Should I put in for this other position? During my own wait, I know that there were so many decisions that I made, and I really, really wish that I would have had more information at the time. And it just felt like I was kind of paralyzed, wondering, should I take that other semester in college? Am I going to have time to finish my degree? There were a couple of local police departments that were hiring, and I wondered if I should go ahead and apply for those, if I should start their hiring process, or if I should just keep waiting on Border Patrol. And there was just so much uncertainty that I was actually able to finish all of my college, get the job with the police department, and still do some teaching all the time that I was waiting for the hiring process. So my advice to you would be, don't put your life on hold. Life is not going to wait. Go ahead, take the job, do the move, do the things that you need to do, because there's no guarantees with the hiring process. So let's talk about the wait in particular and how it can be an advantage instead of just a painful and frustrating process. So when you're in the process and you're watching your portal and you're seeing other people from other announcements that seem like they're moving ahead faster than you are, maybe they're even getting final job offers, they're entering on duty, and it seems like your portal is just stuck, not moving, you haven't heard anything, you don't know when you get scheduled, or maybe you're most of the way through the process and you're waiting on your background and you've heard nothing for months. You met with your investigator and the days are just ticking by, the weeks, the months, and you're beginning to wonder if you're going to get an academy date at all this year. So even though it can be really frustrating and uncertain, there is an advantage in the hire process. And it's kind of a small, quiet advantage, and it's easily overlooked to applicants, but it's really impactful. And I wanted to talk about that in this blog post, and that's really what that's about. So when applicants are moving through the hiring process, a lot of times we are very reactive. We're responding to emails from the hiring center. There are deadlines that need to have things turned in by, and you're just in a position of responding to what the hiring center is giving to you. And you're just waiting, you're hanging out, you're winging it, really. There's really another way that you can go about that, though, and that is being able to turn your hiring wait into an advantage. So although it can be frustrating, some people take out their frustrations with training, They decide that they're going to prepare. They set some standards for themselves and they follow through with those because they really want to be ready when the job offer comes around. And so instead of waiting until there's a minimum standard that they have to pass, they start right away. As soon as they put in their application, they just start training as if they're going to get the job because they want to be ready when it does. Just in case they happen to be one of those applicants where they have a very short timeline, the 100 days, 120 days. So that's really the two ways that you can interact with the hiring process, really. You can just be reactive and sit and wait and wait and wait, or you can be proactive. You can pick up the reins in your life. You can make decisions. You can decide that you're going to be doing something to get yourself ready for when the opportunity does come. So the next part of this is the biggest lie that a lot of applicants believe about the academy. So this was really interesting to me to realize how many applicants believe this. And it really comes down to what the academy does and what the academy does not do. Like, what is it for? So the academy has the same standards for everybody, the same expectations. The instructors are grading to the same set of criteria for everybody. So it doesn't really matter where you came from, if you speak Spanish, if you man, woman, older, younger. It's not like the military, where your standard depends on your age or anything like that. So the academy has non-negotiables and everybody will meet them or you don't meet them. And that's really how it is. So the difference is not the academy. The academy is not different for some classmates than the other. It's pretty much you go through there as a class and it's going to be the same. But what makes the difference is the condition that the trainees arrive in. And that is the big misconception because people think, oh, the academy is here to prepare me. It's going to get me ready for the job. But the academy does not create readiness. I feel like I should repeat that. The academy doesn't create the readiness. It reveals it. It shows, it displays, it pulls back the cover on whether you're ready or not. So if you did the work ahead of time and you did your preparations, you're going to have a very different academy experience than someone that just, has been reactive and waiting and maybe hasn't really started a fitness program. They're not doing any personal discipline. Their standards are low and slipping, and then they just go to the academy. It's going to be a very different experience. So it's really important to understand that you are setting patterns for your success or failure at the academy, at the field training unit, and even further in the Border Patrol job. Back in the hiring process, like that's when things are happening. That's when your habits are forming. That's when your personal standards are either being raised or you're just kind of letting things slip. So really, by the time that you step off the bus there in the academy, a lot has already been decided. So I just wanted to summarize in a few words here, and that really is that how you spend the waiting time during the hiring process, it matters a lot more than you realize. It isn't this quiet, dead period of time, no matter how frustrating and certain it is, but it's quietly shaping the outcomes of the future. It's shaping your experience at the academy. It's shaping your likelihood of success, of graduating. It is shaping the field training experience that you're going to be having after the academy, riding with a journeyman, all the way through your first year of probation. And really, if you show up ready, having prepared and trained your mind, your body, and your emotional fortitude, you're going to have a lot better experience than somebody who sat on the couch eating potato chips and, maybe jogged around the block a couple times a week. So just wanted to leave you with that. And this will be the first part in a 3-part series that I'm going to be sharing with you about academy readiness for Border Patrol applicants. So I hope you enjoyed. Stay tuned, subscribe, like, do all those things so I can continue to make more content for Border Patrol applicants. Bye-bye.